A 37-year-old man walks into the emergency room, has a heart attack, and drops to the floor. An ambulance brings in an infant who is drowned in a bathtub at home. Hospital emergency department staffs often work under constant stress, moving from one trauma case to another. Day after day, it can take a toll. South Shore Hospital in Weymouth has a program, the Kenneth Schwartz Grand Rounds, which offers caregivers, from doctors and nurses to therapists, the chance to talk about the emotional aspects of their jobs. At a recent program, staff shared some of the cases they have handled, the challenges they faced, and what helped them to do their jobs better.
A resuscitation where both parents were present for the resuscitation of this infant who did not make it. And it was literally several hours with the parents. This poor mother would not let go of this infant. And we just sat in the trauma room for quite a long time, comforting this mother and father, and it was just devastating to these parents.
Said that he was having chest pain, and he was kind of pale, kind of sweaty. Went to take his blood pressure, and that was it. He just went right out. So now here's this 300-pound man in the wheelchair, and me in a closed office. And I called code at triage. So many people came to help. It took 5 or 6 of us probably to get him into the stretcher. But we had the defibrillator right there. And as soon as he hit the stretcher, we were able to shock him. And we had to shock him a few times, right in triage. And we got him back.
A young person that arrests on you, I mean, from all your experience, that ups your ante. That ups the anxiety, that ups everything. Because you start thinking, oh my God, this guy's probably married, probably has kids. There's a whole lot of things that go through your head. When someone goes down, the stress hits you as that caregiver.
There's tremendous stress when someone codes in front of you, somebody, especially someone who walked in seemingly healthy and was complaining of chest pain. Have you ever heard someone actually drop suddenly from going to VFib? It doesn't sound good. It's a splat sound, and you know it's something serious has happened. You turn around, and there's the patient flat out. When you're coding someone, and you have a family member, an elderly family member in the room, that elderly family member oftentimes becomes your next patient. So you have to be cautious and be aware while you're resuscitating that someone is keeping an eye on this other individual.
Your opportunity for venting with each other is, whew, that was horrible. And then you shake it off and you literally wipe your brow, go back to work. The employee assistance program here and the social workers and the critical stress debriefings, I think in the cases I've been involved in some really crappy situations that I didn't want to come back to work the next day. I didn't want to finish my shift. So it's a great thing. And I think if you can do it with your coworkers, that's great. If you can't, there's other alternatives in the hospital.
Every time I would have to tell somebody that their loved one had died, it brought back too much of my father. I knew exactly what they were going through. And so every time I had to tell somebody that their father had died, for about 2 years, I would be crying with them. And you're right in their shoes. You know exactly what's ahead of them, and you know exactly how they're grieving. And that went on a couple of years, I hate to admit, but I'm better now.
A friend of mine took her life and I was working on her. You know, luck of the draw. Bad, I was the float, I was covering resuscitation. It blew me out of the water. I mean, I went in town with a friend of mine having a heart attack and he arrested in the back of the ambulance. He's fine, he lived through it, but you see these people that and all of a sudden you need to put on your absolute game face. And now you're working on someone that you might have an emotional tie to. You can't not do your job. It's no longer your friend anymore, it's your patient.
How could anybody let this happen to this innocent child? You know, they let this happen. It was their lack of, you know, you go through all those anger things that you have to table. So, you know, you're dealing with the family's anger, and then you're also dealing with sometimes the staff's frustration.
Coming up with systems where you can support each other is a great idea. When you go home, people are in a different world. They don't have the ability to give you the support that you need.
This is Sue Scheibel reporting for the Patriot Ledger. For more coverage, see today's story in the newspaper or go to patriotledger.com.